Welcome all my nerd friends. So we're going to do a series of videos here on some comics and some role-playing things, and I figured we'd start out with my dices. So a lot of these games back in the day, I guess there were computers, but the computers couldn't handle the kind of complexity in some of these role-playing games. So the way that you would create, I guess, randomness and chance would be with a dice. And so we're going to take a look at. So this is a box from, I'm pretty sure back when I was in like junior high, of some games. There's actually games in here, and then a bunch of dice. So this is smaller than a shoebox. I think it was for checks maybe or something. I don't remember what it was from. We got a couple of sets of dice. When I used to go to Vegas and play craps or something, if I won, I would buy a set of dice in the gift shop, I guess. So this is the old Circus Circus, and this one is Slots of Fun, which is out front. This is a big giant dice. I only got the one of this one, but big six-sided dice. Got a couple of game things for one of the games in here, pieces that you would cut out of paper. That these games were just little paper games. You would cut out the pieces of the tokens, and that's a baggie of those. I've got some army medals in here, so just go through these. Got infantry, got air assault. What do you call construction dudes? Ordnance, MPs. What is that? Armored infantry. Then you got artillery. It's just U.S. cavalry and signal corps or communications. I don't know why I had all these in here, but I have them in here. So that's a bunch of army and branch insignias. Oh, and then medical. So you got these dice. I've got a couple of them in here that are not regular, like this. I forget the name of this, but you have probably 6 of these things, and they have cards on them. And when you roll them, I guess that's your hand. I don't remember how this is played, but that's some game that isn't anything else. This thing here is a true-false, so this is just a 2-sided dice, really. And otherwise, most of these are just your standard dice of different types. So when you, well, I shouldn't say that. There's one in here, this one. That's awesome because it has a skull for the 1. That's my favorite dice. And then the rest of them, though, are sets. So let's see if I can't pick. I think I have most of this set. And this is the standard for whatever games you're going to play. The standard ones you'd have. And you can see that there's some different shapes. The one I'm missing, though, is a 4. So we'll start off with the 4-sided dice, which is this little pyramid. Then you get a, is this an 8-sided dice? No, then probably go to 6-sided dice. So you got 4, then 6, which everybody knows. Then you've got an 8-sided dice where they take a pyramid with a base of 4 sides, and then they stick 2 of those together. So now you have 8 sides. So that's an 8-sided dice. I guess I have 2 of these in here. After 8 would come 10. So this is a 10-sided dice, and it's just a weird shape. After 10 would come 12, so here's a 12-sided dice. I don't remember if there was a 16-sided dice or not, but in this set I have a 20. So then you've got your, well, if you really wanted to include one of these, true-false, you could have a 2-sided, a 4-sided, a 6, an 8, a 10, a 12, and then a 20. And if I had it here, I have an orange 30 as well, which almost looks like a ball. It's just even more facets than this one, and there's 30 sides to it. So that's your standard set, and then sometimes you'd want like 2 for some of the sizes, I guess. So that might be why I have a couple like this. I honestly don't remember. And then you would just acquire sets. Some sets were the solid plastic, like these, and these were kind of easier to deal with, especially depending on how dark the basement was, right? So like these are solid plastic, and then they scribble some crayon in there of a contrasting color to make it so you can see it real easily. And I guess I'm missing a couple of them here, but this was a little smaller. They're actually lighter weight, so they rolled differently too. So people would, like these different kind of die based on how they rolled. And then of course you got scales. So I got a little tiny one here. I probably have ones even smaller than that. You got your sort of standard size. Here's one that's sort of in the middle. Maybe from a game or something. Here's a wooden one. and then you know, of course they get as big as something like that. So that's my dice, and it's just a bunch of duplicates, I guess, nothing really new in there. And then you've always got a coin, which can give you a two-sided option as well. In the next video, I'll dig below all these dice into whatever these pieces of paper are down here, and these are actually role-playing games. So in the next video, we'll take a look at some of the role-playing games that you could play in this little tiny form factor like this. So just in your pocket, in some dice, you could play a really interesting game. Some of the funnest games are little ones like this. I guess let's end it with Car Wars to get you ready for the next one. All right, let us know what you think about die and dice in the comments, and thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.